I force him to defend himself. He's a cautious man. I draw him into dangerous water. See, you get so frustrated playing defensive positions, you make stupid moves you never make if you were thinking. When you come here, boy, check that shit at the door.
I'm at the top of my game, cut the check. Somebody better king me, I'm the best. Let's play a game of checkers. Better yet, the game don't love nobody. Let's play chess.
I keep forgetting when I'm in love anymore. I keep forgetting.
All right. So, I'm supposed to be doing my live episode with Dr. Terrence Wilson tonight to be discussing violence in Chicago. And before I do that, I felt that it entirely necessary for me to hop on and have a bit of a conversation. Everybody out there in DC right now, and just so you understand, I'm not completely divorced from what's going on there. My brother-in-law is there. He thought he was going there for a peaceful protest. All right. I want to be principled in saying this because I think what's happening right now is absolutely horrid. Okay. I would have issues with this if it were the left doing it. I would have issues with this. And I still have issues with this with the right doing it right now. Okay. Over the last 4 years, we've had a conservative movement that has been growing. And I deigned to become a part of the conservative movement. I'm running for election in the next election, and I'm kind of pissed because I see what's going on right now, and I see everything and all the people I'm working with to prepare this next round, and I'm seeing a contradictory movement in DC right now, and it basically destroyed everything that we've been working towards. Everything that the left has ever claimed the conservatives have been, or that we were going to become, has just been proven correct. We just proved them correct in every way, shape, and form. And at first, I didn't think anything was going to come of it when I watched the speech earlier by the president and Rudy and the rest of the grifters that were in DC. And I didn't think it was going to become of anything. It was just going to be another protest, and peaceful protest is entirely warranted. But you guys are trying to engage in insurrection and revolution far before it's time to reach that point, and it's necessary. Violence is supposed to be the last-ditch effort. It's supposed to be the last thing that you choose. And we are far from that point where violence is the mode that we needed to take on. We didn't have to go there. There are still tactics, there are still strategies that could have been employed. There's still things that could have been done. There are people prepping to run in the next election like myself. There are people within the party and the administration that are planning on fixing and reforming and dealing with the issues that we have. We still had courses of action to take. Congress was still dealing with its own process. You wrecked the entire process. And don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna say that the MAGA movement doesn't have the Make America Great Again movement doesn't have a reason to be angry. You spent the last 4 to 8 years being called Nazis and white supremacists and everything else. But in case you haven't seen the pictures, we just had a guy in a cowboy hat with a Confederate flag mount himself on top of statues in the Capitol Park. We have people in the U.S. Capitol waving Confederate flags and Proud Boy flags and stuff like that. This is exactly what is defined as an insurrection. you are putting, even if you love Trump and you like him, and I voted for him twice, you're putting him in a situation where he has to declare an insurrection against his own supporters. Now, there's a lot of speculation that it's Antifa on the ground doing all of this, and that they instigated everything. I'm not going to get into the speculation because I think it's largely irrelevant. If you're a part of the violence, you're a part of the problem. I held the same position when it was Antifa doing it. I held the same position when it was Black Lives Matter doing it. I'd hold the same position regardless of who did it. This is completely inappropriate and counterproductive towards everything that we were working towards. This isn't reform. This is legitimately trying to tear down everything that we've worked towards. And now, how do I go and convince people that we are not exactly what they see on TV right now? How do I go and tell people that we're better than this? And in case you need to know, I'm listening to the live feed from C-SPAN right now. I'm watching everything that's going on. I'm still going to do my episode on Chicago tonight. And I honestly, I keep trying to leave politics and party out of a lot of the stuff that I do, and trying to focus specifically on solutions so that we can have productive conversations. But what is transpiring in DC right now is not at all what I expected to happen. We have quite literally become the Mr. Hyde. Okay, I kept saying that this MAGA, this Make America Great Again movement, this liberty movement, was a blunt object that needed to be crafted into a scalpel. It needed to be directed towards something. Because without it being directed towards something, it will end up becoming a destructive force. We have protesters that have taken the Capitol building. We have protesters that are attacking and assaulting officers. We have congressmen that are cowering inside the Senate and the House. Why? What did you accomplish by doing this? This isn't a peaceful protest. You're not getting your point across. You're not changing how people are going to view the movement. You're not changing how we're going to move forward and what we're going to achieve. Quite literally, all we've done is stand in our own. Hi, Kenny. Hi, Marcus. My brothers. We're standing in our own way right now. Now, I understand the anger. Okay, I completely get it. But nobody should be wishing for revolution and wishing for war beyond as a last resort, I should say. We're not there. We didn't have to be there. We didn't have to we didn't have to engage in all of this. But for some reason, and of course, I can already see it on the news right now. Everybody that ever hated Trump and predicted that this would happen is reveling in it. Everyone that hated the liberty movement, wanted to castigate us and say that we didn't love this country. They're reveling in it. They're playing it right now. I'm looking at it. C-SPAN, CNN, MSNBC, they're running with this and they're using it to poison people. And honestly, I can't say that I can defend against it. I'm going to spend the next couple years trying to convince people that we're all not friggin' insurrectionists. We're not all a bunch of crazy revolutionaries with tinfoil hats trying to take down the government. I can't believe it. I mean, this is basic mob theory. If it actually was Antifa, today's the day for a glass of scotch. If it actually was Antifa, this is basic mob theory. As people group together, they get less and less rational. As passions get inflamed, it only takes one person to yell fire to result in absolute chaos. And that's where we are. It's an absolute shame. It's an absolute shame. We could do better than this. Anybody you thought that you could win over, you can't win over now. Anybody that you thought that you were going to get to see your side, you can't get them now. All the inroads that we made into new communities and the 9 million extra 9 million or 10 million voters that we got more than last time. Actually, I think it's probably close to around 12 million. Yeah, the average American does not like the idea of revolutionary. I know we all can sit around campfire and we can all joke about how we're all willing to fight for our freedom, but the fact is the majority of the country isn't. You look at the average number of veterans at a given time in the country, it's not that high of a percentage. This is exactly what we needed to not do right now. You have, all of you out there that are engaging in the rioting and stuff, you have completely made the left's argument for them for probably the next 2-3 decades. Everybody out there should be calling for an end to all of this. Everybody out there should be trying to shut this down. Everybody out there should be saying how wrong this is. This isn't even a political issue at this point. Whether you're angry about the election, whether you think that there were things that we could have done, whether you think that this is the end or whatever, there was a process that was playing out and things that were still left to do. It wasn't over. This is so far the National Guard and riot teams have responded to the Capitol. A woman got shot in the neck. Somebody had already got shot trying to make it past the police. Cops have been injured. So much for Back the Blue. Yeah, you guys obviously didn't care about that. And it's okay, don't worry, because the institution of the police didn't give a shit about you either. That's not how it works. You can love the cop and the institution still be against you. So you have congressmen cowering inside their offices right now. You have people waving Trump flags, and everybody out there saying that this is an Antifa conspiracy. You're out of your fucking minds. You're out of your minds. You really think that all these people that walked over here from the Trump speech are all Antifa? Are you insane? What the hell is wrong with people? How do you rewind? How do you rewind everything that has happened? I expected better. And I'm going to say I blame Lynn Wood and I blame Rudy and I blame everybody else that stood up on that stage and drove the passion and drove the anger and the angst that everybody had in that crowd without directing it towards anything productive. And that's happened over the last 8 weeks. And I get it. I get it. It burns inside of you because you feel like you were cheated. Because even though you felt like you were cheated, the court cases weren't even heard by a judge in most cases. They didn't even get past the point of discovery. It didn't even get to the point of discovery. You didn't get to test your evidence in court. Didn't get to sit in front of a jury. I get it. This is the exact same justice system that people have been bitching about for decades. And we as conservatives ignored them when they said it. Honestly, the next point of damage control going into 2020, it looks like everybody in 2022 is running for office is going to have to answer for this. Every single one of us are going to have to deal with this. It's going to be something that's going to be thrown at every single one of us that are running. And now anybody that we could have convinced on the House floor or in the Senate, their ears are wide shut. Friggin' eyes wide shut now, ears plugged. They have no interest in listening to anything that any conservative has to say right now. This is not good. Trump had the ability to lead a movement. He had the ability to reshape politics for the conservative movement within the country and drive it towards something into a different direction. And we could have got rid of the establishment type, the cronies that run our party or have been running our party for so long. But instead, that's not what happened. So how do we fix it? How do we fix this? This is the type of shit that destroys movements. This is the type of shit that sends us backwards in the exact opposite direction of where we needed to be. Despite the anger that everyone had dealing with this, we weren't done yet. We were moving in the right direction. We still had enough people with we still had enough people that were willing to engage and are willing to drive everything that we're doing towards something something powerful. We weren't done yet. So now it looks like the votes and it looks like the votes and everything will resume tomorrow. And for the night, like I said, there's been a curfew for 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. So that's going to go into effect soon. if you're in downtown, if you're in DC and you're in the Capitol complex, you might want to get inside before 6 p.m. I think it's bad now. It's going to get so much worse. It is going to get so much worse. I don't know what everybody was planning on doing, breaking into the Capitol. That is arguably the worst possible choice to do. If you think that they're not going to shoot you, you can get straight capped for doing what you did. They have no problem shooting you for breaking into the Capitol. You get too close to one of those senators or one of those House members, yeah, you're going to get shot. I can't believe this. This is absolutely horrible. Oh, man. Apparently, people had used the barricades as battering rams to get the doors open. Definitely one of those good initiative, bad judgment moments. I'm going to go and say that this is definitely not Antifa at this point. This is definitely not Antifa. This is definitely normal, average, everyday Trump MAGA people pissed off and let loose. And it's completely freaking inappropriate. You just gave the left everything that they needed. Everything the left be able to say that we're the big boogeyman that they've been alleging that we are for the past 4 years. Just happened just now. For anyone that didn't know, they were in the middle of contesting Arizona, and I was listening to the speeches at the moment, and it was actually some pretty good and pretty compelling speeches that were going on. And then this started, and in the middle of the speeches, people broke into the Capitol, and they weren't able to get the door. First, they broke through the barriers, 4 different barricades, got to the steps, used the barricades to get past the cops. Capitol Police were not able to get the doors shut in time to be able to, they weren't able to get the doors shut in time, the exterior doors, to be able to get inside and keep everybody secluded. Then, after getting inside and using the barricades to break down the doors, there's video of what looks to be Trump supporters wearing a big, huge American Eagle shirt wrapped in freaking chains and shit, chasing a police officer down the hallway as the police officer is staring down about 30 people. So this entire year, these last 4 years, we've been bitching and whining and complaining about how horrible Antifa and BLM were for burning down cities and torching cop cars and stuff like that. There are pictures and there's video right now of a whole bunch of Trump supporters standing on top of a Secret Service SUV or Capitol Police SUV with its tires slashed, windows busted in, and people jumping on the hood of the car. Still feel like you're better than all of that? Still feel like we're doing a better job, like we're above all of that? Before all this, we had the moral high ground. We had the moral high ground. We could have said, hey, look, guys, this isn't us. We can still do this. We're not as bad as they are. And now look, we're doing everything that they said we were doing too. Before this, it was isolated onesie and twosies out causing trouble and shit. Before this, it was just random people out getting into trouble. But now it's not just random people. It's a whole crowd of MAGA supporters screaming Trump, Trump, Trump. And Trump failed to stop this. Oh, sure, he just did a press conference just now where he said, hey, we need to remain peaceful and stuff like that. It's too late. It's too late. You let the crowd get pumped up. You let your legal team pump them up. You let them to throw out every conspiracy theory in a book about how everything was done to Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. All of this shit should have been stopped. Should have been stopped way ahead of time. None of this should have ever happened. Should have never got to this point. None of this should have ever got to the point where we're watching our movement do the exact same shit that we just bitched and whined about for the last 4 years about Antifa and BLM doing. You know, BLM Incorporated. Every movement, regardless, every cause goes through 4 stages. The first stage is the fight for individual rights, the fight for legal rights, legal representation, things of that sort, equality. The second portion of the movement is for acceptance. Okay. The fourth level in the movement is militant. It's militarism, militancy. And the fourth wave is regression. You get to the point where you take your ideological goal to the utmost extreme, to where you actually start to engage in the exact opportunity that you fought to escape. The best way that I could describe it, that everybody should understand based on the eras that we grew up in this country, is first wave feminism was the fight for the right to vote and equal representation. Second wave feminism actually happened during the 80s, and during the 70s and 80s. That was women in the workplace and acceptance. That was about acceptance and enfranchisement, equal enfranchisement. The third wave of feminism ended up being a screw all men, men are evil, tear down the patriarchy. Fourth wave feminism would be we are all women, God is a woman, the world is a woman is a social construct, he's a woman, it's a woman, all of that. To the point where woman cannot at all be defined, to the point where everything that makes up a woman that is not a woman starts to castigate those that are women. That's how the general tracking of how each movement ends up growing and evolving throughout time. We just watched this happen over the last 4 years with the MAGA movement. We went from wanting to be heard, and to be honest, the MAGA movement precedes Trump. It started with the Tea Party. So the MAGA movement which precedes Trump and started with the Tea Party. It went from 2010 feeling like we were left behind and wanting to be heard to I'd say 2012 when we took back the House, or I'm sorry, 2010 and 2012 Obama got reelected and whatever. And then you had 2016 where we finally made it clear to everybody that was on stage running against Trump that they were unacceptable. We didn't like what they had. Then you had 2018 where Democrats took back the House, and we realized that it was not all going to go the way we wanted it to. And then you have 2020 where we were supposed to be the prodigal child, but we just found out Darth Vader is our daddy. This is so depressing that we ended up devolving a movement that could have been so productive and so powerful into this. We were starting to become the big tent party that many regular, normal, everyday voters wanted to become. And many in the movement were shooting for. All of this is counterproductive. Okay. Well, I'm going to let you guys go. I have another podcast tonight, a special episode where we talking to Dr. Terrence Wilson. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share and retweet. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be standing on much better footing and be in a more principled position. All I can say to left right now is I'm sorry. All right. Hopefully tomorrow will be a better day. And that's it for right now. I'll see you guys in a couple minutes for episode 13 of Blue Collar Intellectual Podcast with Dr. Terrence Wilson to discuss Chicago's street violence and possible solutions to solve the problem. God bless. I'm going to walk you guys out for the moment.
And what kind of player am I? Am I an offensive man or a defensive man? That's right, I'm neither. I play my opponent. If he likes to attack, I force him to defend himself. If he's a cautious man, I draw him into dangerous water. See, you get so frustrated playing defensive positions, you make stupid moves you never make if you were thinking. When you come here, boy, check that shit at the door.
I'm at the top of my game, cut the check. Somebody better king me, I'm the best. Let's play a game of checkers. Better yet, the game don't love nobody. Let's play chess.